Guys, it's Jess Baskin. I figured I'd jump on here real quick to show you a hand lettering technique called Faux Calligraphy. This is one of the first techniques I learned. You're using anything from a Crayola pen to a pencil, crayon, whatever you want to use. Regular paper, notebook paper, totally up to you. Lines, no lines. I'm just going to show you the basics, and you can just think of it as a way to draw your letters versus writing them. And it's a style that is going to mimic calligraphy. And if you've ever seen calligraphy, let's see if you can see this okay. It sort of looks like thins and thick lines, and this happens when you're moving up and then down with your pen strokes. So anytime when you're doing traditional calligraphy with a pen and nib, when you move the nib up, the ink is going to be light, and then when you bring anytime you go down on your letters, when you're pulling the pen down, what happens is that point on the nib splays open and the ink flows more. So this is meant to mimic that style, but obviously a Crayola pen can't do that on its own, so I've drawn it this way. So basically all you're doing is drawing your letter. So I'm just going to start with the letter A, and hopefully we can do this where you can see. Just going to make a script A like that. Now anywhere that I've brought my pen down, so that's here, and then again here, I'm going to go back and draw another line, so it's almost going to look like an outline letter. Also, I should mention that my children and husband, since we're all quarantined, are in the other room, so you might hear some kids' songs and stomping. I don't know what's going on in there. Anyway, you're going to make a little connector here and a double line. So now it sort of looks like an outline of an A. I don't know if you can see that. And then all you have to do is go back in and color in the open area. And I actually really like using Crayola markers. It's fun for kids too, because they're just it's such a smooth transition. But I've also used pencil, so I'll show you with the pencil, and then you just color it in the same. But the Crayola markers that have like the thick edges are fun to write with. So let's do a B. Okay, and now here are, if you trace over the letter, here's where I pull up, and then here's where I come down. I'm going to make that second line, and then we went back up and down here. Not the prettiest, since I'm writing on a weird angle here, but you get the drift. So then you just color it in. All right. Let's try a word. We'll do marker. So M, right? I'm gonna write the whole word out first. Hopefully I leave myself room. Okay, it's hard to write on this angle. Now I'm going to go back in, let's see, and draw my lines. So here you can see it's kind of tight, so I'm actually going to put the line on the left side. But for the most part, I draw it on the right. If you're using a Crayola marker, you can also kind of just use the side of a marker. You don't have to fill in, you don't have to make the outline. Here's another one. I'm just going to do that on some of these so you see what I mean, versus drawing it and then coloring it in. totally up to you. The R is a little strange because you're not, you're sort of coming across here, so I tend to make this left side and then the right downstroke the heaviest. So not the most beautiful, but I think you get the idea. And also, you can use this technique on a different style. It doesn't have to be script. So for instance, if I want to make like a capital letter A, notice I'm still pulling down on the right side. And then if you want to get fancy, you can add little feet called serifs to your letters. Those are these little lines called serifs. I hear a baby in the other room. Here's a B. So here's where I pulled my pen down originally, as well as the bottom part of my curves. You could color it in a different color. To save time, I'm just going to make it blue. Right, those are the basics of faux calligraphy, and I honestly think it's one of the more approachable styles if you're first learning to do hand lettering. And I just think of it as drawing shapes that become full letters, and even if you don't have the best handwriting, you can still do hand lettering, and it just takes practice. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and hopefully I'll see you soon when this is all over and everyone's staying safe. Okay? Take care.